Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Carta E-Rig Dab of the Day. Today is Friday. Hello, everybody. Well, we've had very interesting topics lately. We've had topics about health, feeling better, doing more things, getting life, special occasions. Special occasions are a really big topic because you're in the summertime. There are things happening, you and your family, your friends, etc. But we neglected to discuss a major component of these things that we got to figure out. Travel. How do we get to the things we want to do? What about a vacation? What about an airplane? What about an airport? What about a bus? What about a train? How do we get through those stations, through the airports? How do we do it? For me personally, it's been about 6 or 7 years since I've been in an airport. And the same amount of time since I've been on an airplane, public transportation of any sort, or in a hotel room. Mrs. Stoner and I, years back, went up to Maine for recreational pot 3 or 4 or 5 years ago for one night. And it was so miserable for me. We had to come back at 2 in the morning, drive at 2 in the morning, because I couldn't sleep because of my pain. So my fear, our fear, is it's going to happen again if you've done it and had the experience I had, traveling. What about a vacation to the islands? What about an airplane? What about sitting in an airplane chair? What about getting on the plane? What about walking the length of the airport? What about standing? How are you going to do it? My truthful answer is I don't know. But I have to try when these things come up if I'm able to do it. I have to. So let's talk about things we need to think about before we travel. We have to make sure we have our medication, our pills, our medicine like this if we can take it. If we want, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to handle that. But how about getting from the car to the plane? Couple suggestions. Most airports have those people that will transport you. Not a wheelchair. It's like a golf cart type of thing where there's a driver. I've taken those even when I was seemingly healthy, because I had a lot to carry or whatever. That's a good way to get down to your gate. How do you stand on line going down to the plane? That's a hard one. If you want exit row for extra feet and leg room, you can't be handicapped. You can't use a cane. You can't be limping. How about spending for first class for a more comfortable seat and easier access to the plane? Look, I realize money's not easy for everybody. That's not the point. Life is not easy for many of us. So we have to put against it whatever we can to make it go our way. First class travel. We give you a softer seat, more leg room, early entrance, and possibly even more assistance when you get on the plane. Now let's go further. A hotel room. I say it with a grave face and a grave tone because it hasn't been for me, but it needs to be for me and for all of us to start thinking about life outside of the home, life outside of our box that we're boxed in on, and try to move in the direction of things like this. I'm not saying go away for a week. Mrs. Stoner and I are thinking on our 42nd anniversary of me asking her to dance, of going back to Syracuse. That's right, trying to make that drive for one night so we can be where it all started. You know what? Things like that might be worth it for you to carve and finagle and squirm to get yourself there and back. I don't have to go in an airplane. I don't have to go through an airport. I just got to sit in a car for a long time. Let's talk about that. How do you sit in a car for a long time? You got to bring your prophylactics with you. You got to bring your TENS unit. You got to bring your brace. You got to bring ice. You got to bring heat. You got to think like you're making a mini survival kit, if you will, for a period of time. And it's got to include medication, medicines, TENS units, electrical stimulation units, extra batteries, a charger, your braces, your Dr. Ho belt, whatever makes you feel better in the worst case scenarios, you got to bring. You got to bring your cane. You got to bring your crutches. You got to have access to a wheelchair. I know that sounds bad, but in the worst case scenario, you're going to have to get back from wherever you go. And if you fall victim to what can happen, God forbid, you need to have a backup plan. So you need to have either a portable wheelchair in your trunk or traveling with you, or access to one when you get to where you're going. Let's go further. What if you're on vacation? How do you get from your hotel room downstairs and then to the beach if you're going on a beach vacation? You might not be able to go all the way down to the beach because of the amount of walking. Gotta go slow. Maybe stay by the pool. Find an umbrella. Find a tree. Find a book. Find some music. Maybe you want to stay in the hotel, in the lobby, in your room. Put your feet up. It's going to be your vacation, your time with your loved one. It's for whatever you want to do. But what you cannot forget is you've got to prepare for the worst, and you got to make sure you're ready. I do not encourage going out on this type of trip, any type of trip or vacation, if you're not feeling up to it. If you know you're not going to be able to do it, don't put yourself through it. It'll be worse than you can imagine. I've done that. Cheers. What you got to remember, here comes the DAP train, is that the traveling, in most cases, is a want. It's a want, not a need. So we talked about this. It's called the hierarchy. Need, must-dos. Kind of want really to do. Want-to-dos. Thinking about. The triage of you gotta do, I understand. But if somebody says to you, you feel like going on a vacation in a couple of months and you don't feel like going, say no. The other part of this that is critical is you cannot let other people control what you are able to do. And I can't say that harsh enough and grave enough. You can't do it to please a spouse. You can't do it to please your children. You can't do it to please your parents. You can't do it to please your friend. And you sure can't do it because of work. You can only do this type of traveling if you can do it. Because it might really hurt. It might really set you back. So the consequences can be extreme. So the motivation and the reasons you do this traveling have to be really important. And the most important part about travel, to fill this whole circle and complete it for you, is you've got to go slow. We talked about going to the mailbox, going to the corner, going a block, going to a park, walking around the park, then walking a little bit more. You can't do it first time out of the box. The number one really bad thing to do would be, after being home for 6 or 7 years and not doing any traveling, throw yourself on an airplane, go away for a week and think you're going to have fun. Because you're not. It's got to be worked up to, and you got to get a plan. Just like there's a pain plan, there's going to be a travel plan. Just like there's a special occasion plan, there's going to be a travel plan. So everybody, this is an important topic. traveling with pain, with chronic intractable pain. How do we do it? I hope I was able to help, and I hope I'm able to get some of us traveling again. This is the Real Senior Stoner saying, have a great day, everybody. Cheers.